Thanks for staying with us. We're at the Kansas Soybean office here in Topeka. We're joined by Kenlon Johannes, who's the Executive Director of the Kansas Soybean Commission. And Kenlon, thanks for joining us. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, the whole bit as we come into 2017. What a great year for Kansas soybean farmers. It looks like we potentially have a record crop.
Well, certainly, kind of an early holiday gift, I guess,
exactly.
is what we ended up getting.
Which means potentially we've got some additional revenue coming through from the penny per bushel deal. And what are some of the things that the Commission's looking at possibly funding for fiscal year 17-18?
Well, they have a great opportunity. That, in fact, they looked at 70 different proposals that were submitted to them. They put out a request for a proposal in August. They got replies back in late November, and then they sit down and they glean through all those proposals. So they had a really grueling 3-day meeting, right, where a lot of people came in. They had a lot of good ideas, but they were able to actually fund a few more things this year than they did in the past, mainly because of what you said. It looks like the revenue this year could be over $8 million. Mm-hmm. Of course, we send half to the national board, so we'll have a little more than $4 million probably to work with in states. So they were very excited, and I think came up with a good slate of different ideas that they do.
Perfect. And when we talk about funding different ideas, you guys kind of have an idea of what you're really wanting to do. International markets, education, potential new uses for soybeans and byproducts of soybeans. Is that kind of the line that they follow along?
Yeah, it really is. And it kind of coincides with the national board, because the national board has big, huge projects for international marketing, because 60% or more of our soybeans get exported. Right. And then national does some research, and national does some biodiesel and those types of things. But we enhance that in state, and we actually do some projects of our own. So as far as international marketing is concerned, we've got kind of a 3-pronged approach that they fund. We fund it for soybeans itself, and we go to Japan, Mexico, and the Caribbean with those. They look at meat, which is mainly swine, and taking that to Japan and Korea. And then they look at poultry, which they, again, have kind of looked at Japan, and then they look at Korea and in South America, and really some in Mexico. So that's kind of the international focus on a 3-pronged way.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with Kenlon here at the Kansas Soybean office. Watching kansasAGreport. We'll see you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're at the Kansas Soybean office here in Topeka. We're joined by Kenlon Johannes, who's the Executive Director of the Kansas Soybean Commission. And so when we talk, let's talk about some of those things. We'll break them down a little bit, Kenlon. When we talk about research, we're really talking about research done local here in the state, so we can talk about varieties that best suit our climate and farmers here in the state of Kansas.
Yeah, that's very well put, because the national does some big scope research, but we have our own unique problems in Kansas. While we do fund the North Central Soybean Research Program, we do a lot of research at K-State. And again, it's on plant health, it's on insects, it's on diseases, other pests, those types of things, and actually a genetic breeding program too for varieties that really fit Kansas. So that's a very well-rounded production research, but we do some utilization research too. And in fact, we do some of that at Pittsburgh State. We develop polyoils that replace petroleum oils, and in fact, we're sitting on foam that's made with soybean oil-based polyoils. Some of that work done at Pittsburgh State with Kansas Soybean Commission funds. So that research component is very exciting.
And not only that, you look at the water issues that we face and all the other things that go along with it. I know Kansas State's got research centers throughout the state of Kansas, so they're actually touching all regions of the state.
You know, that's interesting. I didn't really put down the number. I'll have to look that up because, yes, I'm sure we probably have 6 to 10 locations out to western Kansas, southern, northern or central, and the like. So that's pretty exciting. But
and not only that, you look at the research you can do at Kansas State University when it comes to the swine unit or the beef unit and everything else that goes along with that. Basically the feed unit.
Yeah, we've done some feeding studies, things like that. And what I think we've done a little bit with K-State and some of the other universities, though, is really biodiesel. Now, we have a biodiesel consortium here in Kansas, which is somewhat unique. Some states are pushing out to promote biodiesel in stations and things like that. We're doing it with the academic aspect. So we've got a person who goes around and talks to diesel mechanics. We work with North Central Community College. We work with Seward County College. We work with K-State. We work with KU, all of them, and they form this consortium to really promote biodiesel and really educate those that would actually work on biodiesel machinery.
Well, not only that, but it's just another use for soybeans, and it's added value. I think he even said it's kind of added value for the soybean farmer.
Yeah, and it's an industrial use. Soy foods are pretty small. They're like 2%. Again, back to your pork, beef, and poultry, they're 98% of the meal. Those are the big boys. We really think that's important to this aspect. Right. And then we make sure and we get this message out too with different types of trade shows, farm shows. There'll be some soybean schools coming up in January, very soon here. So we want to get that message out to producers too, not only what we're doing, but what they can do to better raise soybeans.
Perfect. Someone's watching the show this morning, wants some more information about some of the things that are actually being funded this year through the Soybean Commission. Where can they go?
Certainly. Our soybean website is kansassoybeans.org, and our toll-free number is 877-KS-SOYBEAN. So call in or check on the website.
Perfect. You're watching Kansas Ag Report, and we'll see you in just a minute.